Good morning. Good weekend. It's going to be a great Sunday for my Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin's Dallas Cowboys, because they cannot and will not lose this Sunday.
They'll figure out how to lose.
It is time for you to skip the BS. Time for Undisputed. Time to get into it with Mike and Keyshawn over what happened last night in New Orleans as the Saints lost for the fourth time in 5 games and continue to open the division door for Baker Mayfield and those Buccaneers. What was your biggest takeaway from what you witnessed last night, if in fact you watched the whole game? I'm not sure you could stay with the whole game.
Wait, slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down, Skip. Pick the Saints.
Pick
Say that
the
again.
Saints
to win it all. And messes with you and I about picking the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Now go ahead on and speak,
Yeah,
Keith.
go ahead on.
Well,
Go ahead.
Mr. Irvin, if you understand anything about nepotism, then you would know why I picked the Saints. You know, Skip, you and I texted a little bit last night during the game. And
I think you were about to check out in the second quarter.
yeah, and then, you know, I actually did check out at halftime, and I came back the third quarter and said to myself, okay,
Wow.
Carr, to me, is not living up to what I thought at the start of the season when he came over from the Raiders. I anticipated and expected for him to play a lot better in this offense to catch fire. For whatever reason, they're stalling. They're not putting the ball in the air nearly the way that I envisioned them. When you look at the amount of weapons that they have on the offensive side of the ball, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what the problem is. When you throw the ball 55 times, 55 attempts, that's too many.
By the way, that included 22 incompletions. Go ahead.
And I don't need him doing that. I don't. As much as I want my nephew to catch the football, you could be, 23 of 27 for 230. You got a couple running backs that if you just run the football, try to run it. Let Taysom Hill carry the ball some. Give it to him out of the backfield. Clearly, he showed you he could do that in the red zone when he scored the touchdown. They got the football, 2 gifts, okay? 2 bad fumbles, one on about the 40-yard line, they had to punt. Then they got one on the 17-yard line, they only got 3 out of that. So you start to look at that. What is wrong with this offense? And Pete Carmichael, yes, he's a terrific offensive coordinator, but let's not forget, Sean Payton was the person calling the plays in New Orleans, although Pete had the title. He did it when Sean was suspended that year. But for the most part, this isn't Sean Payton. And I think a lot of times we look at New Orleans and we assume that everything is going to be okay because the offensive system is still intact. But Sean's not calling the plays. That's one of the biggest issues that I have. I can't take away and go away from my pick, my suit. I got to ride with him to the end, to the wheels fall off. It is what it is.
Yeah, you're going to flame out. You're going to burn out. It's going to be ugly. That's what it's going to be. And I'm going to be right here to remind you every
chance. The trade deadline is coming up. Maybe if y'all smart enough in Dallas, there's a certain receiver
we ain't talking about Dallas
that's tall
right now.
that can help
we
y'all.
Ain't talking about Dallas
Maybe
right
y'all
now.
can see if there's an interest from a certain receiver.
You're talking about the Saints?
And we'll talk about all of that later. We'll talk about all that later. Right now, it's your time, and it's our time.
Mike, what you want me to do? It's my nephew.
Well, I'm just saying. Don't be getting on me with the Cowboys. Okay, but that's it. Let's get to Jacksonville. You said a whole lot about the things you didn't get Jacksonville the right credit that
Well,
they
he asked me what went wrong.
I understand. You could have just said they ran into Jacksonville. Just try that. They ran into Jacksonville, and this young team right here with guts and fight got up and whooped them. That's what you should say to get them that credit, because really, honestly, they didn't. They did early on, and then they came back. But they sealed the game. And honestly, I thought it was a great sealing victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've been talking about both teams, one in the NFC, the Detroit Lions, who are up and coming, fighting the fight with those big boys, trying to get in and scratch into that big race. And in the AFC, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars now sitting at 5-2. Fighting to get in with them big boys and scratching at that surface. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. First of all, the most impressive thing last night was Trevor Lawrence taking the football field. I was suffering a week 6 injury and fighting through for his team. It's the message it sends. Not only did he take the football field, he was leading rusher. He rushed for 59 yards. So what does that say to everybody else on my team? You better get your butt on the field. Yep. If this guy's on the field with a bad knee, you better get on this football field and give what you got. It's the message that sends throughout this team that the Jacksonville Jaguars when they won this game last night. Offensively, man, they were up, played great early, kind of fell off, and needed to make plays in the end. Christian Kirk on Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know why they had him on one-on-one with Matthews, but great play call, great setup, and Christian Kirk goes and scores a touchdown. You're like, wow. He's out there with a bad leg, and his offense get the game-winning touchdown, right? Get a touchdown when they need it. So now the offense feels good. Then the Saints get that drive, Key, that we were just talking about. They get the drive, and the defense comes up with the stop right in the red zone on fourth down. I say this is a trifecta victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, it's a great victory. It puts the team in the right place. And both sides, offense and defense, got a say in the last call. We are talking about the new king of takeaways in the National Football League in the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And
this young team is ready.
Catch the football on the corner route, it's a tie game, or they go for 2 and win it.
What does that mean?
Don't act like they just gotta stop.
We can do
You're making it sound like they just gotta stop.
They didn't get a stop?
No, they did. But what contributed to that stop, Michael?
Great defense.
The dude scored. He's wide open. If he just trusts these, he would be okay.
But this goes back to what we were saying. Now, if we go back to that play, it wasn't just his hands. It was also that defender up under him. He kind of flinched just a little bit. Just a little bit. That may be the case. Just a little bit.
So you're going to get hit anyway.
Right. That's what we're saying. That's what we say.
And look, I'm not down on him, Skip, okay? Because in a situation like that, you miss an opportunity. He don't need to hear from me. Hell, he heard it from himself when he was sitting on the bench.
He did.
Yeah,
so,
hard.
I just wish he just catch it.
All right, back to your Super Bowl pick. I thought it was a slick pick because you really can't lose, because if you hit on it, if they suddenly get hot and go win the Super Bowl, you say, I'm a genius. If they don't, you say, I was just being true to my nephew. I just was supporting. It was nepotism. So you can disqualify your own pick either way, right?
Yeah, I mean, but look.
Right, I liked it.
You know why I did it. So.
And you know why it was wrong. Because of that quarterback. And I warned you from the start. I tried to help you.
You're not the only one.
I know. I'm sure you've heard it from inside out.
Man,
okay.
If you only do.
Okay, I got it. But Derek Carr, to me, has a lot in common with Dak Prescott, even though I think Dak's a little better than Derek. Derek he's capable of having big games. And then he's very capable of that thing last night. And I do think his psychology is that he felt he was born to be the Raiders quarterback, and he thought he was going to retire a Raider.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he gets thrust into a situation. They didn't want me, and now I got to start all over, kind of, on the backside of my career in New Orleans. It looks like he's crumbling some under the pressure, and then he starts to take it out on the sideline on Pete Carmichael, who has been their coordinator, as you point out, Keyshawn, for 15 years. He's been there for 17. He's respected within the organization. Yeah. Because he's been there. He's a stalwart. He's a cornerstone of that franchise. And it's a bad look for the team and for Derek and for everybody involved for him to be screaming at Pete Carmichael on the sideline. So it comes down to 2 throws late in the game. And I think he actually shocked Foster Moreau that he made such a good throw. You can argue this throw is a touch high. It's a touch. But
man, ain't no wrong.
Come on.
There's a perfect throw.
I mean, it didn't hit him in the face. But again, is Keyshawn going to? Yes. Is Michael going to put it in his back pocket? Yes. That's
an easy grab.
It's a pretty easy catch. And I think he just got shocked that Derek actually put it where he could actually catch it. But then what happens on the next play? Could we see the next play? Because it's a horrible throw to me, and you got one more shot.
It's a horrible throw.
It's a horrible throw. It's fourth down, and then I don't even know what the idea is. It's just a bad, everything's wrong. It had no chance. It had no chance.
I wish I could have seen the bottom screen and see what they actually was doing to my nephew. But I wouldn't. it was a poorly designed play to begin with.
It was a terrible idea, and it just kind of left you flat because obviously Moreau should have caught it, and we'd be having a whole different conversation. And then you do have a reprieve. You got fourth down, and it just falls flat on its face. And it leaves you saying, what are they? Where are they? Where are they headed?
And they got a good defense.
Yeah, well, they do, except you brought up the Christian Kirk play. They get Tyrone on him running on the crossing route. But then somebody's got to tackle him.
You got to tackle him.
That defense is too good to let him just run through everybody.
He ran a jerk route. Now rally. That's one missed tackle. That's one. That's two.
Yeah, okay.
That's three. That's four, basically, four missed tackles.
And you know what it felt like to me? Like the defense is being affected by the lack of offense. Like their heart's not in it either. They're losing heart for what's happening because he just runs through them. They never give up a play like that.
He's really fast, though.
No, he
was outrunning the angles.
Right.
He said that's the fastest he's run since college, though. But he is really fast, and they are really good. And I want to amplify Michael Irvin's point because Trevor Lawrence sent a message to his team.
Right.
I'm out here, man.
Right.
And not only was he out here, if we could see three of his quote-unquote scrambles, the first one, I'm saying, what are you doing? Because he just takes off, and we can see this, he just takes off running. And this is when he's got a bum knee, and he gets the first down. And that sent a big message to his team. Here's the second one, and this is the longest run. Man, he looked fast on this play.
Yeah, that play right there, he certainly looked fast.
Yeah, okay. And then the third one is...
You can see where his knee limping a little.
Check this out. He cuts back inside like he's going to take some punishment. Like, I don't want to go out of bounds. I'm going to cut. Oh, that was the last one. Let's see do we have the last play? I don't know if we have the fourth quarter scramble. But anyway, in the fourth quarter, he cut back inside a defender like he's going to get more yards.
Are they on the Cowboys schedule this year?
Oh, man.
No, you wish. Right?
They got a very good team.
We took our lumps from them in overtime, if you remember that game at Jacksonville.
Yeah, they got a really good team, Skip.
Yeah.
I think when you look at where they're at, sitting at 5-2 within their division, their division is not very good. So they run away with the division, although Houston is a team that's scrappy and it's still a win here or there and give some hope. But when you talk about Tennessee and Indianapolis, that's nothing there. Jacksonville will mess around. As we're joking around.
And that's the question, Key.
And they will have the 1 or the 2 seed.
Yep.
And we'll all be sitting here going, huh?
Yep.
Because they've been in the playoffs already. So they got that taste. They understand what it takes. Their head coach has won a Super Bowl, has been in the playoffs multiple times. He knows what it takes. They got a young nucleus. Calvin Ridley didn't even do anything last night.
That's the surprising part.
Well, I mean, maybe they just didn't utilize him a certain way, but he didn't even do anything last night. And they still was able to get a victory against New Orleans in New Orleans. So you think about that for a minute. What could they be in terms of the hierarchy in that AFC conference?
And when I say that's the one, it's because when you hear Coach Peterson talk about it, he talks about Ridley as he's going to be the star of this team.
Yep.
He says, listen, this kid is going to be great. He's going to be a star. I just got to get him out of his own head. So something, just whatever that is, but it ain't a physical thing. He has to. So really, when really do get going, that's why I'm saying the question really is, are they ready for the big boys? Because what you saw last night, I thought was a thorough victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars moving forward with all those elements I talked about.
But who do we consider the big boys? The Miami?
You know who the big boys? Miami, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, if you remember, they played Kansas City tough last year in the playoffs.
What I'm saying.
It's not like they are afraid of Kansas City. I mean, they've beaten teams within their conference. They came from behind against the Chargers last year and won that game. They didn't quit. So when you start to think about a young team that's building and Travis Etienne and company, they certainly got something.
Yeah. That running back runs hard, and he runs quick and fast. Where he gets up into people quickly, and he knocks people over.
You remember they didn't want Etienne when they first drafted him. Remember when they drafted him with Trevor Lawrence and everybody was saying, no, I was like, what are you talking about? This dude can play.
Well, they were, but if you remember when they drafted him, they didn't necessarily draft him to play running back. They drafted him to play receiver. That was the difference. That's why people was going, like, what are you doing?
Well, in this new offense, running backs are receivers and receivers are running backs. Be honest with you.
But they wanted to convert him for whatever reason. they wanted to convert him to a full-time wide receiver, which really made no sense.
No sense whatsoever. Not a full-time.
Back to the quarterback. Just after he was drafted, he'd made some remarks about football wasn't really his priority in life, and a lot of us sat here and said, well, is it or isn't? Because you cannot be a franchise quarterback unless you are obsessed with this. I mean, you have to live it and die it if you're going to be that guy. And he looked a little like a surfer dude, even though he's from Atlanta. And then you wonder,
it's the hair, man.
It's the hair.
He looked like sunshine. Sunshine in the movie.
Yet he and his, I think they were engaged at that point. They moved out here to Southern California, so he was going to become a surfer dude type out here in L.A. And so we're kicking it back and forth. Does he have the mental and physical toughness to be a star in this league? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And last night was
that's a perfect point, Skip.
Yes.
That's a good point.
To prove to everybody on that stage, on the Thursday night solo stage, that with I guess it's a sprained knee. But remember, we talked at the end of the show yesterday, the point spread kept going up in favor of New Orleans because Vegas thought he was not going to tough it out and even play at all. And you and I were both picking, I said, I'll pick Jacksonville if he plays, but I don't know that he's going to play. Well, he played, and then he sat with the Thursday night crew, Carissa and company, and our man Richard Sherman down on the end of the dais, and his football IQ, I don't know if you guys saw any of it, it is extreme, man. He can really talk it. He sees it. He is becoming a big star. He's becoming a threat to the top of the hierarchy of quarterbacks, where at some point he is so good because he's 6'5", and he's got he's got easy velocity. He's got effortless velocity. That I think we're going to be talking about him as a threat at some point to Mahomes and Burrow and Tua and whoever else, Josh Allen, you want to put at the top.
Yeah, you will, Skip. I think when you look at where he was at as a rookie in the situation he was put in as a rookie is totally different than now with Coach Peterson. It's just a different situation. So you're getting an opportunity to see his true value at the quarterback position and who he really is. He has a real teacher in Mike McCoy at the quarterback position as his coach, along with Doug. So you got two guys that have been underneath the center in the National Football League that are longtime coaches that understand what it takes to be successful. And when you have that in the room, that knowledge seeps into your brain. So now you have the ability to be able to take advantage of that, transfer that onto the field, and become something successful. He is still relatively young. This is not a guy in his 9th year. No. This is a kid that's still young and learning how to play at the pro level.
And understanding what it takes to be successful at this level. Because, Skip, I don't want to go back to his original comments about, basically there are other things in life than just football. But when you get here, you realize there's not much other things to life than football. Because that's what it takes to be successful, no matter how you come in. I came in thinking, oh, man, I'm here now. We're going to win right now. That's what I thought when I got there. We only won 4 games in 2 years. I was like, okay, so this thing is different. You learn this league once you get here. I realized you can't win in this league by yourself. I don't care if I did it somewhere else. It ain't going to happen here. He may have realized I can come in and play quarterback and still have a life. And now he understands to get to the top because he's at the top. He knows what he had put in. It's going to take me giving my life to this game, and he's doing that.
So, Keyshawn, back to your New Orleans Saints.
Man, what, man?
So
Skip,
Derek Carr's offense goes 3 of 18 on 3rd down, but they sort of cancel some of it out because they go 4 of 6 on 4th down, and they control the football like crazy because they keep it for 36 minutes to only 24 minutes for Trevor Lawrence's offense. And they pile up 407 total yards, which works. You'd say, well, that should be good enough to get you there. But they go 2 of 5 in the red zone.
They did what the Cowboys do.
Okay, well, you can make that case.
Don't score when they get in the red zone.
Except the Cowboys are 4 and 2.
Yeah, I get all that. And they're 3 and 4. I got that.
Yeah, and they have lost
3 and 3 or whatever the heck they are.
What are they? They've lost 4 out of 5.
3 and 3, I believe.
No, but they've lost 4. Right? So what are I don't even know.
Yeah, so they 3 and 4 there, man.
Okay. 3 and 4.
Yeah,
3 and 4.
Okay. As you can tell, I'm tired of talking about it.
So are you ready to jump completely off that bandwagon?
I can't.
You're hanging in?
No, because the division is very winnable. And if they can win the division, just like Tampa Bay did last year at what was it, 9 and 7?
Yep.
You win that division. You get a home playoff
Tampa
game.
Bay, it was 8-9.
Or 8-9 or whatever it was. You win that division. You get a home playoff game. You draw a team like Dallas because they're not going to win their division. And then...
How do you know that? Who's to say? I mean, we're going to come back here Monday, and it's going to be 2 losses each for Philadelphia and Dallas.
Wait. Don't let Key skirt this. Don't let Key skirt this. Key, stop, Key.
What did I do now?
So even if they win that garbage division and they get into the playoffs.
They got a home playoff game.
They are. I don't care where you play the playoff game. They're going to be back home right after that game. So they're not going anywhere.
Very similar to...
So don't say if they get in the playoffs, anything can happen. They're not one of the teams
so you don't think
if they get in the playoffs.
So you ready to tell me anything?
No. They will not win in the playoffs. They will not win in the playoffs. They won't, Ken. You know that.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
But Jacksonville can. Jacksonville can. That's what we're talking about. Jacksonville can.
That's not what Skip mentioned.
New Orleans
Skip was talking about the Saints.
No, Skip was talking about the same thing.
He said the Saints. He asked me about my team.
That they can't win in the playoffs. You said that's the season. You tried to say they can win in the playoffs.
I do think
and I'm
they
saying they can't win, but the Jacksonville can win. And you know
if they win their division, they get a home playoff game, Michael. Anything could happen.
Okay, but they're not going to win their division because Baker's going to win that division.
I don't know. Right? I don't know. Baker just lost to Detroit at home and looked a shell of himself from the first couple weeks.
All right, I just mentioned this, but we got to talk about Sunday night's game, Miami at Philadelphia. Cry, Eagles, cry. Here we go.
How do you think New Orleans will win this?
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.